So it's 4 o'clock and we're going to get started. Thank you all for being here today to practice with me. And to begin, I'm just going to share something that I read this morning out of this little poetic wisdom book that I have and have been coming to a bit more frequently recently. I have a few more people coming in, so give me one second. Hi.
Hi.
You can, we're just getting started and we're starting laying on our backs. So you can just come to lay on your back on your mat. All right. So I'm going to share this little bit of poetic wisdom, and while we're laying on our backs, you guys can just get started by taking some deep breaths. You can inhale and visualize that breath coming through the top of your head. So through the crown, and then as you inhale, that breath and energy travels down the spine towards your tailbone. And then on your exhale, you just are closing your eyes and visualizing that breath coming back up. And so the breath is like a little energy slide across your spine. And using that visualization, laying here on our backs, I gave the option to put a little pillow in between the shoulder blades to kind of help you open up the shoulders. And just breathing here, starting to release the stress of the day. Just finding some calmness where all you need to do is breathe. And I'm going to share this little excerpt that I read this morning. No matter how much work we do on ourselves, stress and anxiety will show up. Our work is not to avoid them. It isn't to wrestle with them or even cope with them. They are unavoidable visitors. And let us accept this. When they come, acknowledge their arrival, evaluate what invited them in, and recognize that they are guests, not permanent features. They will leave, especially if we don't entertain them or pick a fight with them. No matter how overwhelming the feelings that come with stress and anxiety are, we must always remember that we are human. And though we may not be able to control their arrival, we always have the power to release them. Pause, breathe slowly and deliberately, think positively, remember your strength. These feelings will eventually leave because ultimately they know they have no home within your sacred self. Taking a few more deep breaths here on our back, creating an intention for your practice today, meaning taking it more than just the physical practice and finding something that maybe you can release, some sort of stress you might be holding on to, whatever it may be, connecting with one thing that makes this practice your own. So setting that intention, taking a few more deep breaths on our backs here, feeling the shoulders sink down and away. Let's take 3 more deep breaths here. And we'll start to move very gently with our breath. So on our next inhale, we're going to lengthen the arms and legs out as far as you can, like you're stretching in the morning. Just take a couple breaths here, and as you inhale, you'll feel that arch of your back lift off the mat. And then as you exhale, think about pushing that back down towards the mat. Take 2 more breaths like this. Inhale. Exhale. Push all that air out. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale, stretch. This time as you exhale, you're going to curl into a ball. So you're going to bring the knees into the chest and hug the knees in tightly. And then as you inhale, lengthen out again. Exhale, come into that tight ball. Option to lift the head off the mat and bring the forehead towards the knees. Inhale, lengthen nice and long. So lifting that head will add a little bit of core work. You can always keep the head on the ground though if there's any pain in the neck or shoulders, or if you just want a more gentle practice. So taking these basic movements at the start help us connect our breath and our movement, which is really our goal in yoga. All right, inhale, nice and wide. Exhale, bring the knees into the chest, but keep the head on the ground this time. Open the arms out to a T. Palms can face up or down. And just let the knees drop over to the right. So just coming into a gentle twist. Let's take a few deep breaths here. It'll feel more restricted, trying to take that deep breath through the twist. That's really good for detoxing. Inhale, come through center. Exhale, let the knees fall over to the left. Just a gentle twist here. You don't have to push the shoulders into the ground, just waking up the spine. Let's take that with flow a little bit. So inhale to center. Exhale, drop the knees to one side. Inhale through center. Drop the knees to the other side. Moving with your own breath. Inhale through center. Drop the knees. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Coming back to center. You're going to bring the hands under the knees. If it's available, you're going to rock back and forth till you come to sit, or you can just push yourself up. So if you can rock, maybe do it 2 or 3 times. And then coming into that seated posture. We're going to be here just for a moment, just to warm up the neck a bit. So just taking a couple organic movements, just maybe like you might do on your own after sitting at your computer for a bit, just bringing it back and forth, and then taking the opposite direction by looking up and down. Looking all the way up, really stretch the throat. Exhale, bring the chin to the chest. Coming back to center. We're going to inhale the arms up overhead. As you exhale, that right hand's going to come to the side, your left ear, and you're just dropping your right ear towards your shoulder. That hand's just giving it a little bit tiny tug. Make sure those left fingertips are on the ground. You should feel a stretch from the top of your left shoulder all the way up through the neck. Inhale to release. Exhale, switch sides. So just gentle, really gentle, just adding a little bit of weight onto the side of the head. Push the right fingertips into the mat to help you lengthen here. We're going to slowly release that. We're going to come on to the knees and hands. So coming into like a tabletop posture. And you want to just check in to make sure we have a nice neutral spine. And if you have your knees under your hips and your hands under your shoulders, that's a great start. And then just giving a little tuck to the tailbone and engaging your core. And then make sure the back of your neck is nice and long. Give a little micro bend into your elbows here. You can choose if you want to push into the tops of the feet or if you want to tuck your toes. As you inhale, drop the belly. The gaze comes up. As you exhale, starting at the tailbone, round through the spine, tuck the chin into the chest. Couple more cat-cows here. Inhale. Exhale. Really push the spine up towards the sky. Inhale. Drop the belly as low as you can. Exhale. Coming back to center, we're going to come into puppy pose. So your knees and feet stay right where they are, and you just walk your hands forward until you can drop your forehead on the mat. So it should be a really nice stretch through the shoulder, through the armpit. If it's available, you can bring the chin to the mat, but it's quite an intense neck stretch, so only take that if it feels okay. Otherwise, just keep the forehead on the mat, keeping the hips high and the glutes over the knees. So we're not in full child's pose here. Take one more deep breath. And then as you exhale, you're gonna slither yourself forward onto your belly. Once we're on our bellies, we're gonna come into what's called Sphinx pose. So you want your elbows right under your shoulders. Your belly is like lifting off the mat because you're tucking your tailbone to engage your core. And then push into the tops of your feet so much that the knees lift. All right. Feel a broadening across your collarbone and have your chin parallel to the ground. Like a grand sphinx here. You're pulling your hands, like you're trying to pull yourself forward. So there's this little tiny pull there to really bring the chest forward. One more deep inhale here. As you exhale, bring yourself all the way down onto the mat. So you're on your belly. Open the arms out to a T. You're gonna kick that right foot up so you're bending at the knee. Bring the right hand in towards the chest. And then use that hand to roll yourself over onto your left side. Your knee points up. So we're stretching our left shoulder. Make sure the head is completely relaxed onto the mat. There's no tension in the neck here, just a shoulder stretch. One more deep breath. As you exhale, roll back onto the belly, taking it to the other side. So right arm comes out, left hand comes in to help you push and roll. Left knee points up, head on the ground, relax the neck. Should feel a nice spinal twist here and opening of the shoulder. Deep inhale. Exhale, slowly rolling back onto your belly. You're gonna push yourself all the way back to child's pose. So now the bum connects with the heels. You can choose if you want the knees wide as a hip opening child's pose, or you can just rest your body onto your legs. And this child's pose is a pose that anytime where you're maybe not connecting with your breath enough, you're out of breath, you need just to reconnect with being present. This is a great place just to come to your child's pose for a few breaths and then rejoin us whenever you're ready. Let's come back up to our tabletop posture. So we're gonna just do a little bit of core work here. We're gonna push into that right foot so it's nice and straight, and the ball of my foot is connecting with the ground. Take a deep inhale here, and then slowly float that foot up. So we're coming into a balance here. Now you can choose to keep both hands on the ground, or you might play with lifting that left hand. But if it compromises the lower back and you can't keep your spine straight, keep both hands on the ground. Take a deep inhale here. We're gonna go for 3 crunches. Exhale, bring the elbow towards the knee. Inhale. Exhale, you can do this just with the knee and curve the spine. You don't need to use the hand. Inhale out. Exhale, curve and round. Inhale, stretch it out. Bring that left hand back to the mat. Now you're gonna drop that right foot down so that it's parallel to the back of your mat. We're gonna stack the hips and we're coming into a modified side plank with the knee on the ground. Really make sure we're not hyperextending this left elbow. There's a little bend and then you're pushing into that hand as much as you can to then stack the shoulders. If you want a little balance challenge, see if you can bring the gaze up to that right thumb. One more deep breath here. Exhale, right hand comes back down into our tabletop. So we'll take that to the other side. Inhale that left foot back. Little micro bend in the elbows. Maybe, so first let's bring that left foot up. Then you decide if you want to bring up that right arm as well. Deep inhale here. Exhale, curve and round. Crunch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curve into that ball. Last one. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curve and round. Lengthen out one more time. Drop the hand down. Left foot comes behind that right foot. Stack the shoulders. Open up to modified side plank. Micro bend in that elbow. Push into that right hand. Stack the shoulders, maybe the gaze comes up to that left thumb. One more deep breath. Slowly bring that left hand back down, knee back down, and we're gonna come into our first downward facing dog. So we tuck our toes, lift our hips up and back, and then bring our legs towards straight. Doesn't need to be straight. What's more important is that you straighten from the crease of your wrist to your tailbone. So you want a really straight back, and you can bend your knees as much as you need to. Slowly over time, we work on sinking those heels down and trying to get our legs straight-ish. Heels may never touch the ground, and that's okay. Take one more deep breath here. Find some stillness in your downward facing dog. Deep inhale. As you exhale, walk the feet towards the hands to the front of your mat. So you're in a forward fold at the front of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Push the hands into the shins. Make a 90-degree angle with the body. Exhale, deep fold. Inhale, sweep the hands all the way up. Press the palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll come into our Surya Namaskar A, or our sun salutation. We'll do 3 rounds of Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips as you fold down back into that forward fold. Inhale, half lift, 90-degree angle. Exhale, plant the hands, step the feet back to plank. You can choose here to drop the knees and then slowly bending the elbows, lower yourself all the way down. Untuck the toes, inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, cobra. Exhale, lower yourself down, then push yourself back, downward facing dog. Taking 3 deep breaths in your downward facing dog. Inhale, coming to the tiptoes. Exhale, step, walk, or float your feet to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift, 90-degree angle. Exhale, deep fold, tuck the chin. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. Palms come to touch. Exhale, hands to heart center. Coming into round 2. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back to plank. Maybe keep the knees up this time if it's available, so slowly bending, bringing that plank down to the ground. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Exhale, lower down, then push yourself back, downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths here. So when we come into these stillness moments, it's common for our mind to wander. Party yoga is trying to stay present, stay here, focus on that intention, that release. Inhale to the toes. Exhale, walk yourself to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, deep fold, tuck the chin. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up to the top. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's just pause for a moment. Bring the feet nice and closely together. Stand nice and tall. Roll the shoulder blades back. Bring your palms together and the thumbs come to the sternum. Close the eyes. Just take a moment of balance here. Sometimes in this really simple balance, we find ourselves swaying. Taking a couple deep breaths. Just noticing where the mind goes, how the body feels. We'll come into that 3rd round together. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, hinge, diving down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back to plank. Maybe lower the knees, maybe keep them up. Bring yourself all the way down. Inhale, cobra. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, maybe lift a little higher. Exhale, lowering down, pushing yourself back, downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths here. Next, inhale, tiptoes. Exhale, bring yourself to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, deep fold. Inhale, bring the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. So we'll come into a little modified flow where we're opening our hips a bit. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, hinge down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands and just step it back to your downward facing dog. Inhale that right leg up to the sky. 3-legged dog, just playing with that balance for a breath or two here. Really stretching out that left calf. Exhale, bend the knee, bring it towards your face, and then step it down in between the hands. So we're in a low lunge. Now you can keep it right here, or you can drop that back knee down. It's up to you. As we inhale, we're gonna sink the hips, lift the heart. As we exhale, we're gonna straighten that front leg as much as we can. Pull that right hip back and bow over that front leg. Moving with your own breath here. Inhale forward. Exhale, hips back. Maybe knee up, maybe knee down. Just take one more round here. Inhale forward. Exhale, hips back. And then we'll meet in that front lunge here. Knee can stay down or up. Plant that left hand right next to your right foot. Inhale that right hand up to the sky. So we're coming into a twist. Knee can be up or down. Make sure we're not hyperextending that left elbow. Balance challenge, gaze up to that right thumb. Exhale, right hand comes down. Now we're going to straighten that leg, so we're pushing our hips back. Both legs are straight, and walk your hands around so your legs are wide on the mat. You're coming into a wide-legged fold. All right, inhale, half lift, nice flat back. Exhale, let gravity bring you down. Hands can be right here under the face. You might want a little balance challenge. You can grab the opposite ankle, or you can flip the hands and reach through to try to bring the head closer towards the mat. It's totally fine if you're up here. You're just working on releasing the muscles in the thighs and letting gravity bring you down a bit. One more deep breath here. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, you're gonna bring yourself around to the back of your mat. So you're probably looking away from your screen now. You'll be fine. Same thing, other side. Inhale, sink the hips. Exhale, push the hips back, bow over that front leg. All right, knee can be up or down. Same thing, couple more times with your own breath. Inhale. Exhale. One more round. All right, meeting in that front lunge, knee up or down. Plant that right hand. Inhale, left hand up to the sky in our twist. Think about drawing that left hip back. Stack the shoulders, gaze up to that left thumb. One more deep breath. Bringing yourself back down. Straighten the legs, walk yourself back into that wide-legged fold, round two. Maybe you can heel toe the feet a little bit wider, maybe not, it's okay. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, let yourself fall down. Make sure we're not hyperextending our knees. I'll say that over and over again about our joints because I used to do it all the time. But really something to be conscious of. And actually, when you give that micro bend, your body works a little bit harder. So you get a little bit better of a workout, a little bit more strength building. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, bring yourself back to the front of your mat over that right leg. Step that right foot back, downward facing dog. Let's drop the knees down just for a moment, coming into child's pose. So sink the hips back. Bring the forehead to the mat. You might want to take just a different version. You can bring the palms together into prayer and then bring the thumbs back to the shoulder blades. Just a little mix up. Bring the palms back down. You're going to slowly tuck the toes. Bring yourself back into that downward facing dog. Inhale that right leg up to the sky. Take a whole breath in that three-legged dog, strengthening the arms and that left leg. As you exhale, coming to step into that low lunge. But this time we're going to bring it to a high lunge. So you're going to get the lower part of your body ready, and then slowly lift yourself up. You might get up and go, that stance is too big, and you might bring that foot in a little bit. The goal is to get our knee over ankle. It's up to you how wide and deep your lunge is. It can be here, it can be wider. So find what you're comfortable with. Think about getting nice and long, so coming out of your hips, your shoulders are over your hips, hips are pointing forward, and then your arms are going to come up if that feels okay. If you need to, you can have the hands at heart center as well. Let's just take a couple deep breaths here in this high lunge. All right, so we're feeling into that front hip flexor, possibly. Knees over ankle. All right, and we're gonna step, if you haven't already, we're gonna step that back foot in a bit and drop the heel. So we're coming more into a warrior one stance. And once again, it's up to you how wide that stance is, but now our back heel is on the ground rather than up on the ball of our foot. Inhale here. As you exhale, you're gonna bring your hands back behind you, and you're gonna interlace your fingers together. So you're making a fist. As you inhale, you're going to draw that fist down. And as you exhale, then we're going to bow forward. So we're coming into humble warrior. So you really want to think about drawing that fist up towards the sky and pressing the palms together, and then dropping the neck and the head wherever you are. The goal is to get more to the inside of this right knee so that you can sink a little deeper, but you can always use the body or use that knee as a little rest for the body. One more deep breath here. And you're gonna inhale, pull yourself all the way back up, arms up overhead. We're gonna come into a modified warrior three from here. So first, let's all just bring our hands to the mat. So your hands are just in front of your feet. And then you're going to use your hands and your feet to lift that left back leg up. All right, so full warrior three, our hands are off the ground, but we're taking it slow here, we're building. So you really want to fire up that back leg, point the toes down, like you're kicking into the wall behind you. One more deep breath. And then slowly step that foot back, bringing you into that low lunge. Step it back to plank. You can push back to downward facing dog, or you can add in that flow, bringing yourself down. Inhaling it up. In exhale, push it back. Downward facing dog. Well done. We're going to take it to the other side. Inhale that left leg up, three-legged dog. Deep inhale here. As you exhale, go to step it in between the hands. All right, preparing for that high lunge. Slowly bring yourself up. Take your time to get there. Then if it's available, you can bring the arms up overhead or bring the palms together in front of the chest. You can see that my back knee is bent. You really want to try to fire that up and get that as straight as you can. All right, deep inhale here. As you exhale, we're gonna step into that warrior one. So the foot comes in a little bit. I drop that back heel. And then I'm gonna bring the arms back behind me. Sorry guys, need to drink water. A lot of talking. Same thing the other side. So inhale, really draw the elbows together, draw the palms together. Think about squeezing the shoulder blades together. All right. Inhale here as you exhale, humble warrior, bowing forward, lifting that fist up towards the sky. Maybe you can even get that left shoulder to the inside of that left knee. Maybe not today, that's okay. One more deep breath here. Inhale, bring yourself all the way back up. Arms up overhead. Exhale, hands come down in front of that left foot to prepare for that modified warrior three. Kick off that back foot. Fire up that back leg, toes pointed down. Maybe you can come onto the fingertips a little bit rather than having the whole hand down. Trying to get that back nice and straight. One more deep breath here, really strong left leg. As you exhale, step that right foot back, plant the hands, step back to plank, either push downward facing dog, or you can take that little vinyasa flow, working through cobra, and bringing it back. Once we get there, let's drop the knees and take a quick breath in child's pose. Bring the forehead to the mat, take a couple deep breaths. We're a little more than halfway there. Reconnecting with that intention, that dedication, that release. And we'll continue to add on a little bit to our flow. This first version we took is always available to you, but I'll add on a couple more challenges if you'd like to expand your practice a little bit. So we'll come into our downward facing dog. Deep inhale here. Exhale, let it go. Inhale that right leg up, full breath, three-legged dog. Balancing between the three points. Deep inhale here as you exhale, move through plank to step that right foot in between the hands. First coming into our high lunge, so stay on the ball of your foot. Maybe you can sink it a little lower, maybe not. But if you want to, maybe widen that stance or bring that down a little bit, just to stretch out that front hip flexor a little more. You can always try it and back off if you need to. One more full breath here. Exhale, bring that back heel down. Now last time we stepped the foot in, which makes the balance a little less challenging. It's up to you if you want to take this wider stance this time. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands back together. Clasp the hands. Draw that thumb down as far as you can. Inhale, opening the chest. Exhale, lift the fist up. Maybe you can get that right shoulder inside the leg. Gaze comes back to that left toe. Completely release the neck and the head. One more deep breath. As you inhale, feel like those palms are lifting you all the way back up into opening that chest. Exhale, release. Now we're gonna come into the modified, but then we'll play with lifting the hands up. So we're gonna bring the hands down, kick into that warrior three. Now you might, this time, if you didn't last time, maybe this time you just come to the fingertips, all right? If it's available, maybe you can bring the hands to heart center and balance on that right foot, or maybe you want to bring the arms straight back, airplane arms, yogi's choice. One more deep breath, nice strong right leg. Slowly drop the hands down. Now this time we're gonna kick that left foot up as high as we can while we bring the upper body towards that right leg. Just one full breath, standing splits. And then slowly drop that back foot down. We're coming into that low lunge. We're gonna add a little twist in here. So plant that left hand, inhale that right hand up. Bring out that detox. Exhale, right hand down, step it back. You can push back or you can flow. So either downward facing dog or bring it through with our cobra. Inhale through the nose, exhale, let it go. Inhale, left leg rises. Full deep breath in three-legged dog. Bringing it through on the exhale, in between the hands. Bring yourself up to that high lunge as you're ready. Fire up that back leg, inhale the hands up. Maybe you can sink it a little lower this round. And then we're gonna drop that back heel into warrior one. So when that leg is further back, it's harder to square the hips forward. You really have to push through that back edge of the foot. Remember, you can always step it in a little bit more too. All right. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands back behind you. Interlace the fingers. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, bring it down. Humble warrior. Gaze back to that back foot. Release the head and the neck. One more deep breath. Inhale all the way back up. Release the hands up and over. And then preparing for our warrior three. Fingertips come down. Kick off that back foot. Fire up that back heel. Maybe you come to the fingertips. Maybe you can bring the hands to heart center. The arms back. Or airplane arms. One more full deep breath. You got this. Plant the hands down. Bring the upper body closer to that leg. Kick that right leg up to the sky. Slowly lower back to that low lunge. Plant the right hand. Inhale, left hand up to the sky. One full breath. Left hand comes down, step it back to plank, flow or push back, downward facing dog. Once we get to that down dog, we're gonna walk our hands back to the feet. So we're at the back of our mat in a forward fold. Heel toe the feet nice and wide so that the outer edge of your foot is to the outer edge of your mat. Inhale, half lift. You might take peace fingers to the big toes. You might grab opposite elbow. The goal is to hang, invert, and take deep breaths into the middle of your back. So you're feeling your back expand, the lungs expand into the back. Switching it up with a little bit of blood flow in the opposite direction. Just hanging out here for a few more breaths. We do have one last round of flow. We'll move a little bit more fluidly. So inhale, move, exhale, move. We'll have one or two more options, but if you choose, you might take this third round as just a pause in child's pose. If you'd like to take that third round, we'll walk the hands back forward into our downward facing dog. Inhale that right leg up to the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, bring the knee to the nose. Come to step in between, prepare for your high lunge. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, drop the back heel. Inhale, clasp the fingers. Open the heart, gaze goes up. Exhale, humble warrior to the inside of the knee. One full breath here, gazing back at that left toe. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way back up. Exhale, maybe you're not gonna bring the hands to the ground, maybe you will. Coming into that warrior three, full expression, your full expression, whatever that means for you. One full deep breath. Exhale, bring the hands down, kick that left leg up, standing splits. Left leg drops back, low lunge, inhale, twist. Exhale, hand down, step it back to down dog or flow. Inhale through the nose, exhale, let it go. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, come to step in between the hands. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, clasp the hands. Drop back into your warrior one. Inhale, pull, open the heart. Exhale, dive down, humble warrior. One full deep breath. Inhale, bring it all the way back up. Hands up. Exhale, your warrior three. Take your time to get there. One full deep breath in your full expression. Drop the hands to the ground. Inhale, standing splits. Exhale, step that foot back. Plant that right hand. Inhale, twist. Exhale, left hand down. Step it back, flow, or downward facing dog. Once we get to that down dog, we're gonna drop the knees and come into, you guessed it, child's pose. Make it a very restful child's pose. So maybe the knees are together and the arms are at the side. Take a few deep rounds of breath here. Slowly moving into our cool down. All right, we'll slowly come up to our knees. If you have that small pillow nearby, you might want to use it under the knees, or you might just double up your mat. We're gonna come into camel pose. So if you have knee issues, I would either double up, or I'm personally gonna just put my knees on the pillow, so I don't have to think about that so much. And then I can still push into the tops of my feet to keep my legs engaged. All right, so camel pose, my knees are in line with my hips. They're not squeezed together or too wide. They're aligned there. And we'll go through a couple different options. So camel pose is a back bend. You're gonna bring your hands behind your back. Maybe I'll twist just a bit here. So you're pushing your palms into your back. Your fingers are pointing down and you're squeezing your shoulder blades and your elbows together as much as you can. You might stay right here and just gaze up to open the throat. If it's available to you, you might just lean back a tiny bit and gaze up. We're gonna stay here for 3 breaths. Push into the hands push into the lower back, squeeze the shoulder blades. One more deep breath. And then exhale, slowly come up, and then you can sit back on to the heels. We'll do just we'll do 2 more rounds. So the next one will be similar. You can maybe just open a bit more. And the option is that you could then you could tuck your toes, and you could bring your hands to your heels. All right, I'm gonna save that for the third round for myself, but if you have camel pose in your practice and you want 2 rounds of that, go for it. So pushing into the tops of my feet, bringing the hands to the lower back, squeezing my shoulder blades together, squeezing my elbows together, pushing my hands into the lower back, tuck the tailbone, slowly start to come back, gaze up, really open the throat. 2 more deep breaths. With control, slowly coming back up, coming to sit on the heels. I'm just gonna take my chin over to either shoulder to release the neck. And I'm gonna come into my third round. So you might just take that same thing we've done. Otherwise, you might tuck the toes. All right, same way we begin. So we bring the hands to the lower back. You push the shoulder blades together, we gaze up, and then slowly you might be able to bring one hand. You could also just do one hand. Then maybe you can bring the other. Keep squeezing the shoulder blades. Keep gazing up. One more deep breath. Then I'm going to bring my hands back to the lower back to help push myself back up. Slowly bring yourself down. You can remove that pillow or the folding, and now we'll fold forward into our child's pose once more. Feeling the back expand. All right, and slowly come back up onto your knees. We're gonna just continue our cool down here. So coming onto the bum, you're gonna bring yourself into kind of like a standard stretch here. So the right foot is on the, it doesn't matter which side, we're gonna do both. The inner right foot is on the inside of your left leg. My knee is bent. Inhale the arms up overhead. First, we're just gonna exhale to come forward. Bring the hands down and then let the head drop where it can. You should feel the stretch on the inner left thigh or whichever leg is extended. Make sure your foot here is active, toes are pointing up. And then you can use your hands to kind of push your bum back down onto the ground. So it's probably gonna lift as you lean forward. And then inhale, bring yourself back up. This time we're coming over the legs. So inhale the arms up. Try to get your chest as much as you can over that left leg. Maybe you can grab onto the calf, the ankle, the foot, toe, maybe just hands on the ground. With each exhale, see if you can bring yourself down a little bit. I sometimes like to move rather than hold, so I inhale and I straighten my back, and I exhale, I sink down a little bit. Just take 2 more breaths. Inhale, you're gonna bring yourself up. Now you're gonna plant your right hand just to the outside. You're gonna roll yourself up onto that leg and take 1 more side stretch. A little modified wild thing here. And exhale, bring yourself back down. Switching sides, so bring that left foot in. Bottom of the left foot, inner right thigh, or just the other side. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, just bring it forward. Release the neck and head. Use the hands to kind of push the booty back. Right toes are pointed up to the sky. Flex foot. Inhale, roll yourself up. Arms up overhead. Square the shoulders over to the right and bring yourself over to that right leg. Maybe you can grab the calf or the ankle or the foot. You can choose to make it just a still pose, or you might move a little bit with the breath. See if you can find a little bit more space in that hamstring. And inhale, as we slowly roll up, we place that left hand. Push your hips up, come into 1 final side stretch here. all the way from the fingertips to the toes. Exhale, slowly roll yourself back down onto your bum. We're gonna come onto our backs. All right, so as you roll down, we're gonna come into figure 4 on our backs, which is our reclined laying on our back pigeon. So you're gonna bring your right foot so that your ankle is on the top of your left thigh. And then you're gonna lift that up into that figure 4. Some of you will just grab the back of that thigh. Some of you might be able to bend and reach through and grab the shin for a little deeper of a stretch. Wherever you're at is beautiful. I like to keep my feet active here. I sometimes even sway a little to see if there's a sweet spot where I get a better stretch. All right, so from here, you're gonna keep that figure 4, but you're gonna now roll onto the left. So it's a figure 4 twist. So your right foot, bottom of your foot is gonna come to the ground, your right knee is pointed up, and then that left foot is close to the bum. Now from here, I sometimes find just right here, I've got a great stretch, or I might take my left hand and push my knee away from my body a tiny bit. Just really nice stretch on that inner hip there. Next inhale, we'll roll back to center and we'll switch sides. So let that right foot come down, left ankle to right thigh, and then either grabbing the back of the thigh or maybe the top of the shin, figure 4. I like to get my feet active, do what feels good for you. Maybe a little rock side to side to find that sweet spot. And slowly release the grip and let the legs fall over to the right side this time. So your left foot is connecting with the mat. That right foot's towards the bum on the ground, and then maybe you take that left hand to push, or right hand to push that left knee a little bit. And one side will certainly feel different than the other. One more deep breath here. And we'll slowly release and come back onto our backs. We're gonna take a reclined butterfly. So bring the bottoms of your feet together, reach the hands through, and try to grab the feet or ankles, and then you pull the feet or ankles towards the body while you push the knees away. One last inner thigh stretch here. From here, you might grab the bottoms of your feet or your toes and come into happy baby. And then we'll take one full minute of any last postures your body might be calling out for. So maybe the body wants to take a bridge, maybe the body wants to take a shoulder stand, maybe you want to bring yourself to get legs up the wall for your Shavasana. Anything that feels like it needs just a little bit more love and attention before we can totally relax and lay on our backs for our Shavasana. So take another 10 breaths or so to bring yourself into any of those last postures. Maybe you want to utilize that pillow again. If you want to keep that heart opening, shoulder opening happening, maybe you want to find that pillow once again so that you can open up a bit wider. Wherever your body feels best. Taking about 5 more rounds of breath to bring you into your Shavasana if you haven't found it already. Once we find ourselves In our Shavasana, we'll just take a quick body scan to make sure we've completely released all tension. So all the hard work is done, and now we just can reap the benefits of rest and surrender. So let's start at the feet and make sure we've released any tension in the toes, the arch of our feet, the heel, through the ankle, all the way up the calf, all around the knee, through the thigh, all the way up to the hips. Trying to release the glutes, allowing the breath to return to a natural state so that you can release the abdomen and the core, release the shoulders down, release the chest, release all the way to the fingertips, releasing the shoulders, the neck, the jaw, your tongue, and all the tiny muscles in our face, through our eyes, ears, up through the forehead, all the way to the crown of the head. Coming into stillness, simply breathing and being present. We may not always have the power to control what shows up at our door, but we always, always, always have the power to decide what stays and what goes. Taking these last moments of our practice to release all that does not serve us and simply surrender